Hey, Travels with Dottie here, and I have another one for you today. And I'm going to be driving down to Yuma, and on the drive, I'll be by myself, so I need to take you with me, so I'm not lonely. So I'll be doing probably quite a bit of talking on the way down to Yuma, actually, I'm going to Mexico again. I'm going to pick up my good friend David. He's from Texas. And he came through town here yesterday. He went down. He's at the casino on the border, staying there for the night. And I'm going to pick him up, take him, show him, walk him to my dentist, introduce him to a dentist, and he's going to save $5,000 that his dentist in Dallas was going to charge him $6,000. My dentist is going to do the same thing for just under $1,000. So I'm going to shoot us going in there. I'm going to shoot in the dentist office, show you where that is. And we're going to hang out a little bit more after he's done with his dental appointment. We'll have some lunch and I'll shoot that and I'll show you the street scenes in Algodones, New Mexico. New Mexico. How about regular Mexico? I get confused. I live in New Mexico. I'm going to Mexico. But I'm out here, not in the car starting this video because I wanted you to see something. That is the sunrise this morning. It's absolutely beautiful. And you see the rigs there aren't in my RV park. They're in Park Place RV Park, which is a sister park to where I am at Arizona Sun, owned by the same people. So right on the edge of Quartzsite, and you look to the left and you just see kind of desert. We're at the edge of the desert. So I will pick this up again in the car in about 20 minutes. Well, here we are. Coming through Quartzsite. It's 8:03 a.m. and we're coming through the middle of Quartzsite. And tell you, getting to Mexico is pretty easy from here. There are not too many turns. 95% of it is just on Arizona, the Arizona 95 right up here at this intersection. I'll make a left and there's kind of a little bit of a turn outside of Yuma, but it's not really a turn. It's a continuation of 95, and it's just kind of, and it's not even really a turn. So don't worry about that. Forget I said that. You just keep going on 95 until you hit Interstate 8. And then you head towards San Diego West on Interstate 8 for about 11 miles, and you get off. You can't miss the exit. I mean, there are a plethora of billboards advertising Mexico dentists and optometrists and all kinds of things. And it's you exit. Also, the Ketchen casino is right there. And this is where my friend David is staying. And I'm on my way down there to pick him up, to walk him into Mexico, into Algodones, and introduce him to my dentist and get him some dental work done. So, and I'll tell you when we get down there exactly how many minutes from the middle of Quartzsite it takes. Let's just call it 8. Let's call it 8 o'clock because you're not going to leave from the middle of Quartzsite probably. You're going to be in an RV park somewhere, or I'm going to give you how many minutes it takes me to get from getting in my car to pulling into the casino, which is, right down the street from the parking lot, to go into Mexico. I got my coffee. This is typical winter weather in Quartzsite, where it's like in the 40s, so I'm wearing kind of a heavy coat. It's going to get up to 80, and in the sun it's going to feel hotter than that. It'll be even warmer down there in Yuma in Mexico. My Dottie and George are left at home, so I opened all the windows and I set the fantastic fan to As soon as it warms up, it'll start blowing air out, so we'll get some air circulation for that. They'll be fine. Like yesterday, it was actually a little warmer, and I didn't use the AC or anything. And the worst it got was maybe 87 inside. And that's not bad. It wasn't bad for me. Dottie and George didn't seem bothered. So I got to tell you, folks, I'm almost having this renewed burst of energy fun with my YouTube channel. I'm just really enjoying doing these videos. I've always enjoyed them. I've never got to a point where I wasn't enjoying them. But it's been a little bit more delightful recently, and I can't tell you why. Isn't that a song? I can't tell you why. I don't know. It's a song. I don't know who did it. It's a song. And it's sung by someone that can actually carry a tune. In my family, my two sisters are incredibly talented singers. Margaret earned her living in her adult life as a singer-songwriter. Not terribly famous, but she was able to make a very nice living. She's retired now, and she does, she started, I think, a couple years ago doing narration, like books on tape. And when you start that, you kind of start at the bottom where, you audition online to do books where they don't really pay you cash. They pay you in, they'll give you a percent of the royalties, but the people doing this are doing, like me, my book is on Audible, and I did a deal with the narrator for a percent of the royalties, and he's probably gotten about 52 cents, because it just there's so many books out there from people like me that aren't really truly authors. And so anyway, but I'm wandering from my point. Is that a shock to anybody? She has worked her way up to now she gets paid up front for a reasonable amount to do these books. And she just got hooked into a major publisher where she could, this could really take off for her. And I hope that it does. Adjusting my climate control because it got a little bit too warm. That's just about perfect. Let's see. So it's the beginning of February. I now have officially less than 4 weeks before I head back home to New Mexico. And the plan there is to go back to Artesia, to my home base, until right around the middle of June. I'll be heading up to Eagle Nest for the whole summer and sort of repeat that whole thing. I'm pretty excited about that. So those are the plans going forward. I really had a great, if you saw today's video, and this is being published on Tuesday, but the one I published for you yesterday was all about the day I spent with my friend David. David and I have been friends since the early 1990s, a long time. And we actually met his wife that he's been married to for over 20 years now. We met her at the same time, same circle of friends. And in that circle of friends was, as you know from my channel, Deborah Dickinson. And she lived in Dallas at the time too, and we were in that same big circle of friends. It was a lot of fun. And I got very nostalgic yesterday for those years. I was we were all in our 30s, right? I was an executive with Neiman Marcus stores, and I would drive. I lived in North Dallas, and I would pilot my white Lexus on the Dallas Tollway into downtown, and my office was on the 27th floor of a high-rise called the Renaissance Tower. And it was right down the street, maybe a block away from the famous book depository where Kennedy was shot. One of the standout memories I have of working in that neighborhood is when they did the movie. They shot a lot of it there, and there were times where there were all these vehicles from the 60s and people dressed, extras and stuff dressed in the 60s. It was really pretty mind-blowing to see it. And of course, I worked for Neiman Marcus, and their flagship store number 1 was right there in downtown. And the executives, the real executives, like the president, vice president, chief financial officer, all those bigwigs had offices in that store, in that building. So I was there frequently, and you'd have to walk through the store, to get to the elevators to go up to the executive floor. And you really felt like working there, you were a part of history. Neiman Marcus does have a rich history. One of the founders, Stanley Marcus, he was still there. He wasn't working. He was retired, but he still had an office in downtown Dallas. In downtown Dallas. And I got the opportunity to go over there and meet him, get my picture taken with him, and he signed a copy of his book called Minding the Store. And I really cherish that picture. So I really value my years there at Neiman Marcus. It was quite an exciting, sort of romantic time where I was working. It's funny. You know me now as the guy. If I'm not wearing a black T-shirt and a pair of jeans, it's pretty unusual. That's my wardrobe. I had to go to a fancy thing in the fall where I had to wear a suit. Well, I didn't own a suit anymore, and you know what? I didn't even own a shirt with a collar on it. So let's see if I can clean that windshield a little bit. I should have maybe taken some time this morning to clean it. One of the things that's kind of a pain here is I think on the left-hand side, the sun is sort of splashing in there and making a little bit of glare. I'm sorry about that, but there's not much I can do about it. I've got the view as narrow as this camera will go. Oh, that guy just passed me because I didn't notice we're up to 65 speed limit, so I'll set my cruise control at 65. The house was old, and when David moved in as my roommate, instead of charging him rent, what had happened was we had met there in Dallas and became good friends, and he actually left Dallas and went down to South Texas for a job, and suddenly it became evident that it was a huge mistake, that he was miserable in that job. And I just said to him, David, just quit, come up here, and I'll tell you what I'll do. You move into I had an empty bedroom. You move into that bedroom, and I won't charge you rent. What I'll charge you is I've got a lot of work that needs to be done on the house, and I'll buy the materials, you do the labor. And he was like, oh yeah. So that's what he did. He came up, and that's how he became my roommate. I did things like, all the windows were these like metal framed windows that were very energy inefficient. So David replaced every window in the house with custom, plastic. I guess David will go listen to this and go, Robert, it wasn't plastic, it was something else. But you know what I mean? It was energy efficient, modern windows. And also, I had some siding out back that was, deteriorating, rotting a little bit. And he replaced all that siding. I did some work myself, believe it or not. I had a huge, beautiful living room that had this really dark paneling on the walls that kind of looked neat, but after a while I realized that not only is that out of style, but it just had darkened the room. So I went through the process of painting that over that paneling white, which was not easy. It was like, if I remember right, it was like 2 coats of like a base and 2 coats of the actual paint on top. It was a big room. It took a hell of a long time, but it looked great afterwards. Also redid the kitchen. Wallpaper had terrible wallpaper, and it replaced that with paint. Replaced the kitchen floor. There was a 3rd bedroom, and for a while that was my office, but I realized, you know what, in that living room was so big, there was room for my huge desk and everything. I could have my office in the corner of the living room, which I did, and I invited another friend of ours, Chris, to move in. So there was David, me, Chris, and this was pre-Dottie. This is before Dottie was born. My Australian Shepherd Collar, and my house became the social life central. There were always, when I come home, there are always not just them, but friends of ours in the house almost all the time. And I just remember this feeling, this big grin on my face, that there was all this activity in my house, and I was in 7th heaven back then. I had a lot of fun with that house, and I was sad, very sad to let it go. And on the negative side, David said, I went by the old house the other day, and he shook his head, he said, Rob, you don't want to see it. And I said, did they let it run down? He goes, yeah, sadly, it's very run down. It's, he said, the front yard is like dirt. And I'm like, oh no. I really put my heart into that lawn, front and back. I really tried really hard, and it always looked beautiful. Yeah, I love that house. I don't even have pictures of it, you know that? Because when I was living there were no cell phones. It was all, I don't think, I was in that stage in life where you don't really value recording things, like taking photographs, and I should say, I'm only speaking for myself. In that stage of my life, I wasn't doing things like taking photographs and putting them in albums or anything. So I did have a video recording camera for a little while that got stolen. Only time I've had a place that was broken into and my house was broken into. They kicked in the front door, took a few things, and one of them was my video camera that was on a tripod in the living room. And what had happened was, I can't remember, I had a huge, not huge, but a large crew, construction crew in there doing something. I can't remember what it was. The day before I was leaving to go on vacation. And I was making a big deal of, you got to finish today because I'm going on vacation tomorrow. And the house was broken into the next day. And someone in there saw something they wanted, knew I'd be out of town. So they just put the foot to the door, walked in. I mean, if you saw it from outside, it was probably so quick. It didn't look like anyone was breaking in. It probably looked like someone was visiting me. And that was it. That was it. Dallas was a fun town, and it was big and busy, but nothing compared to what it is now. It's grown so much since then. But living in North Dallas and working downtown and being part of Neiman Marcus, and it was, my friends, it was a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Anyway, we're, I think right now, about 50 miles from Yuma, and you're seeing nothing but desert, right? Either side of the road. I'm going to try to move this camera just a little bit. I owe you an apology. I didn't turn on the recording when we transitioned to Interstate 8. Trust me, if you do it, it's impossible to miss. But I talked about coming up to the exit here. Look at all these billboards on the right for all kinds of services in Mexico and Algodones. And the reason I missed it was I realized I was running out of time. I should be picking up David right now. It's 9:30, and I'm not there, but I'm pretty close. But so it's more than an hour and a half. And how I got that wrong after years of coming down here, I've forever said, hey, from the door, I think maybe I was thinking about from La Posa South, where I usually go, and it's probably an hour and a half to the parking lot, because of course La Posa South, where I usually stay, is about 4 miles south of Quartzsite, and I had to wind through Quartzsite a little bit and then go from Quartzsite down to there, so it's a little bit longer coming from the RV park. But to be fair, I was saying door to door to get into the border, and I was wrong. It's not conceivable that I've ever, even from La Posa South, could make it from the door of my trailer to the door of the dentist in an hour and a half. Yeah. Well, here's the advice is leave 2 hours. Do 2 hours. And here's the exit coming up here on the right. And I'll let you stay with me as we find this exit. David's probably standing there looking at his watch going, where is he?
Got a few in that go.
Oh, was I supposed to come today? I'm at the exit right now. I'm looking at the casino.
Okay, cool. I'm sitting out here in front of
check-in area?
It's kind of the front there.
Yeah, with the canopy over it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm off the highway now and about to make a left. So.
All right, man.
Okay.
I'll see you in a minute. Bye.
So he knew I wouldn't do that to him. So this is the exit, and that's the casino right there. All right, I'm good on the right, and oh, Canopy, that's where he is right here. So where do I go to get in? I'm usually going to a different entrance. Okay, how do I go in down here? I'm always confused about how to get into this place. Off this exit, but this will do right here. And guest check-in, valet parking, self-parking is going to be this way, and that he's going to be out front there. And there he is, standing there, ready to go.
Hi.
So I am 5 minutes late.
Oh, you're doing great.
Okay, here's David. What happened?
Oh, it just,
Your phone was on Pacific time.
my phone is on Pacific time. The desk says checkout time is 11 o'clock Arizona time. And so, I'm looking at the thing and it's like 4 o'clock I forget now what the time exactly was, but I'm going to say it was 4 o'clock on the counter and 3 o'clock on my phone. Okay, so my phone is Pacific time.
Right.
Okay, so I said, okay, I can deal with that. Well, in the room, conveniently, they have a clock next to the TV with Arizona time because it's like an hour earlier or
right
later than mine, or earlier, I guess. So anyway,
they can. I want to listen to you and show them how to get into the border.
So long story short, I'm sitting out there waiting for you this morning, and I pull out my phone just to see maybe if you called or whatnot, and I look up at the time on it, and it's saying 9:30 or 9:28 or whatever, and I'm like, wait, did I miss him?
Now that is a thing that happens around here is you have a cell signal and it bounces from a California tower to a Arizona tower.
Okay.
It doesn't understand where you really are.
Well, and then I said, well, I better call him and make sure that I'm not,
Well, this is a good thing for the video because if we are in Arizona, it's mountain time. Here, just across the border in California, it's West Coast. Pacific time.
Yeah.
But in Algodones, every business goes by Arizona time because everyone's coming from Arizona.
Yeah.
Like you can see, there's really no one out here in this area of California.
Yeah.
It's a big desert. So it can get very confusing. The other thing is, it depends on what your carrier's deal is when we get in here. Some people end up going home and getting huge charges on their phones because they roamed internationally when their service doesn't pay for it. So when you come down here, you might want to check that out. I know people that shut off their phones when they get down here to prevent that. I have AT&T and it's not a problem. And as soon as you get into Mexico, guess what happens to cell phone service?
What?
It's terrible.
Yeah.
No data and barely any voice.
Well, I think I could see the wall from my room. I did see a black. Yeah, there it is right there.
It's right there. Yeah. the RV park on the right, when I had 3 days worth of work a couple years ago, I stayed in that RV park instead of driving back and forth.
That makes sense.
So it's if you go straight, you can drive into Mexico, but this is way more convenient.
Yes.
I've never driven it.
Here, let me get it.
It's got to be it's okay. It's got to be a credit card. They don't have change. They take the card from you and put it in the machine. So that's a good tip. It's $10, and you either have a $10 bill or 10 ones or exact change, or you got to give them a credit card because they don't do change. And it is this is all the casino. Everything is owned by the Quechan Indian tribe.
Yes. Well, when they, my assumption was that the with the phone being one time and they're talking about another, the Arizona time at the counter, I'm thinking, well, I guess that it's their tribal land. They can make it whatever time they want.
Yeah. So the hotel, as far as you know, is on Arizona time? Is that what we're saying?
Yes. They're saying checkout is 11 o'clock Arizona time.
Okay.
And the clock on the next to the TV is on Arizona time.
So this is a little unusual, having this long a line to get in. Usually there's more stations open, but if we're a little late, it's not a big deal. It's not like it's not like they're serving back-to-back people at the dentist.
Well, let me tell you, it was a drastic difference between yesterday afternoon and the evening versus this morning. Because I was getting on the elevator going, man, it was so noisy, and it's just like a ant farm down there with people walking around yesterday.
In the casino?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this morning, crickets.
Yeah.
In the parking lot, I went out and moved the vehicle because I had to park way the hell out there.
So the first time I came through here, it was $4. Then I think it went up to $6, and then $8. Now it's $10.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're staying at the casino, you can leave your car up there and walk down here, but it's a pretty long walk.
Yeah. I think I'll pay the $10.
You got your passport?
Yes. I have multiple forms of identity. I've got my driver's license, I've got passport, I've got global entry.
All right, well, I'm going to turn this off, and I'll have some footage inside Mexico. Okay, so those of you that have been asking me, what's my dentist? I will show you where it is. Borderline Dental. It is right here. Right here. And we are arriving 4 minutes early.
Awesome.
We're 4 minutes early, and there's my buddy. Hey, this is David.
Hi, David. Nice to meet you, Ramon.
Nice to meet you, Ramon.
Hi, David.
Hi, good to see you.
Hi.
And there she is, Dr. Fanny.
Hello.
Hey, this is David, my good friend.
Hello.
Nice to
I
meet
promised him you would just take good care of him.
Yeah.
So, there she is,
Okay.
my dentist.
Yeah. Can you fill record, please?
Yes.
With your information.
Absolutely.
So when he pays, he'd like to pay by check, but if you guys don't want to take it, I'll write my check and he'll if that's what you want, since you know my checks very well.
Okay, bro. Yeah, it's okay.
Okay. It's okay. So you want me to write the check? Is it?
Pues si quiere puedo preguntar.
I'll write the check. And you just pay me and I'll pay them. Because the boss knows my name. And he knows he's taken lots of checks from me.
How you been?
Good. So I decided not to use the denture.
No.
No. It's just because, well, it was uncomfortable, but I can chew and eat just fine without it, because it's just right here and it doesn't really show. It's here.
It's only that side?
Yeah, just right there.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
You used it a couple of months or?
I used a couple of, it was like 2 weeks, 2 weeks, and it's just, I didn't like it.
Oh.
It's much more comfortable. And it's easier to clean too.
You want to clean it?
No, it's easier for me to clean, to keep it clean, because I have to keep this fresh for a year when I come back next year. All right, I'm gonna turn the recording off. Hang on. Okay, so I'm here in the lobby. I got something to share with you. Hang on. I don't think the mic is working. It's off. Hang on. Hang on. So, got a little secret for you. I can't talk too loud because I don't want them to hear me. But David's in there. Dr. Torres, my dentist, is working on him. And the assistant whispered in my ear, it's Dr. Torres's birthday today. It's her 31st birthday. And she has been taking care of me for 4 years now, and just a remarkable young lady. So I did this. Hang on. I had one of the guys take me to a florist, and they gave me as a little bonus, I don't know what that is, but they said she'd like it. And this is what I'm going to give her. But one of the funny things is, I said I needed a translator to go into the florist, because they're not really in the middle of town. They're more on the outskirts, and I think they do more local business. And I said, I want to make sure that I don't screw up and give a type of flower that is interpreted in this culture as being romantic, because I am old enough to be her grandfather. So they helped me out with that, and I'm pretty confident about that. And I'll try to get her this. We're going to surprise her. I hope I'll get that on film.
Hello?
Hi, I think there's something there for you.
Oh, okay. ¿Quién lo trajo?
I think there's a card.
Oh,
Yeah, there's a card. I don't know. There's a card in there I saw.
Doctora Torres. Happy birthday. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. I can give you a
Yeah,
hug.
sure, absolutely.
How you know?
People talk. People
really?
talk to me. I know people. And she gave me this too. I don't know what that is. She said you would know what that is. The lady
Okay.
at the flower shop said you would know what that is.
Yeah, it's with cookies. It's like, well, in Spanish it's Carlota.
Oh,
I don't know in English, but I always see it's lemon flavor, but in this case it's strawberries.
Yeah. So this guy out here next door took me in his car
really?
to the florist and translated for me, because I wanted to make sure. I said, I don't know the culture, so please do not give me a flower that means like romance, right? Because I said that she's 31. She's old. She's the age to be my granddaughter. So.
With my hair.
All right. Well, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to add this into the video in case you want to come here to my dentist and you're nervous about how to find it. It can be fairly intimidating because it's a few blocks away from where you come in and all the streets kind of look alike. So this is what I suggest, is that you pull up Google Maps and put in Borderline Dental. It'll show you exactly where it is in town. And it'll also show you where you come in from the Mexican side of the border. And it's just a couple of blocks. I mean, you walk straight where there's only one way to go. There's one street to walk down. You go one block down that street, take your next left, and go down another block. At the end of that block, you'll see a thing called the Purple Store. It's a big purple building. I think it's called Arizona Pharmacy, but it's a big purple building. And you make another left, and it's right where I'm standing right here. However, if you get confused, I'm standing right in front of it, and I'm going to show you a view in front of me. Do you see all the way down there? There's kind of you can see the brown start of the wall, right? It's kind of like a little sliver there if you look straight. Right below that is the exit to get back into the United States. Why do I say that? Because if you can make it there, you can make it here, right? So, and any directions you get to that location, you're going to come down this street, right? And you're going to walk right by where we are right here. And let me give you another view from a little bit further away of what it looks like. And I say this because you can ask virtually anyone, even people on the street that don't speak English, where's the border crossing? And they will tell you. A lot of people will know Borderline Dental, but it's better if you just say, where's the border? And it's on this side of the street, it's like the very last business. Everything else is along that white fence line going all the way to the U.S. border. So it is literally the last building, and Borderline Dental is at the end of the last building. So I wanted to clear that up because the dentist here did say they get quite a few people confused about how to get to them. The entrance used to be in a different place where you come in, you'd walk in right here, and I think it's the reason they named it Borderline Dental, but then the Mexican government switched it all around and changed it, and the entrance is now a couple of blocks down that way. So I hope that doesn't make it more complicated. I think that makes it less complicated in how to get to this dentist. So David got out of the dentist office, and he needed a little bit more work than he anticipated. So he too is going to experience the wondrous world of getting 2 implants. And we're is it 2 implants and a bridge?
Yeah.
And it's what was it, 2,800?
I thought she told me, when I come back, it'll be 24.
Oh, on top of what you paid? So,
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So the grand total is going to be 4,400. Yeah, that's 2 implants and a bridge,
Yeah.
plus the crowns that are all part of that, right?
Yeah.
What material crowns did you get?
She blurted it out. She said it won't be a part metal, part whatever.
Oh, so they gave you the good one.
Yeah.
And I think I think they charged you for the metal ones, which is a good deal. They do the same for me. So we're both pretty hungry, so we're gonna go to one of my favorite restaurants here. we went to the pharmacy and got pretty good deals on the stuff that we needed. And oh,
This guy's waving us in.
two.
Wow.
So, David, what's the verdict? What was that experience like for you?
It was good. It was very good. You know, they did a great job of explaining things. They were very succinct about what they were doing and what they discovered.
To drink, friends. I got beers, margaritas.
No, I'll take a soda.
I got Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
Coca-Cola.
Sprite. Coca-Cola, senor.
You have a Diet Coke?
See?
Yeah, Diet Coke. Your real Coke will have like cane sugar in it.
Yeah.
We're in Mexico.
But yeah, I was very pleased. I mean, you know.
So just to be clear, when she took out the bridge, she found problems with the teeth on either side that probably wasn't evident to your dentist, right? Because he didn't.
Well, because it was a gold bridge, the X-rays wouldn't go through it.
Oh.
So the whole thing that brought this about was there was a little darkening at the bottom of the tooth where the crown or I guess it would be the crown of the bridge bottomed out. There was a little dark line there, and he goes, I think we got a cavity there, but to get to it I got to take the crown off.
Right.
So once they took the crown off, it turned out that really the whole from the back of the tooth to the front of the tooth and all the way up was pulp.
So what's your best guess if your dentist at home had discovered all this and had to do the implants and everything? What do you think that would have cost you?
Well, I had one implant done in the States. And I got really upset with him on that because they said, "Oh, it'll be the dentist told me it'd be about $4,000." Then when I went to the implant surgeon guy, he said it would be $4,000. I said, "Oh, okay, great. Well, they're working together, I guess, and it's going to be $4,000." Well, no, I found out when I went back to my dentist after they did the implant and to get the crown done, that he was going to charge me $4,000. So I was $4,000 from the dentist and $4,000 for
$8,000.
$8,000 for one implant.
So you're getting 2 implants plus a bridge here for like $4,200.
Yep.
There you go. There you have it, folks. This is what it's like in Mexico. And you know, I was like, I was there for part of it, and she was explaining to him there's certain things that they could do without doing the implant, but they were very high risk. And I explained to him that they had that conversation with me last year. There was a tooth that they said there's not enough there to do a root canal. You really need an implant. I said, are you really sure? They said, well, you know, we could do the root canal and the crown, but we won't guarantee the work. The risk will be on you. And we say you got a 50-50 chance of it being successful. I said, hey, I'm going to take my chances. I'm a smart guy. So I did it, and I went to New York in the fall that year, and I bit into a bagel, and guess what? It broke. So I'm back this year getting what they told me I needed to begin with, an implant, and I ended up, the whole thing's going to end up costing me $400 or $500 more
No, thank you.
than otherwise if I had just listened to them in the first place. All right, I dropped David off. So you know, the conversation that we had about the work that he's getting done, I understand that was pretty complicated. But let's see if we can just review the rough numbers there. What he originally was coming for was just a replacement of a crown that he told me is gold, is real gold, and it was put in the 70s. And there was stuff that they couldn't see because of the gold and x-raying at his regular dentist. And then when they pulled it out here and did x-rays, they found that the a bridge has to anchor to two good teeth on either side. And both of those teeth were just kind of destroyed, not stable at all. And they really needed to put in another crown. They had to do implants for those two teeth. So I think he ended up, instead of $900, he ended up having to spend $4,200, which sounds awful until you think through this. He said one implant in the States, in Dallas, at his dentist a couple of years ago, was the implant plus the crown and everything was $8,000. So so two would have been $16,000 plus whatever it costs for, pulling the teeth that are there, in putting in a new bridge. Needs a new bridge. So minimum is $16,000 versus, it's still 4 times what he paid today. So he's pretty happy. He's disappointed, like I was this year when I came back and my tooth broke and I thought all I have to do is glue it back. No, and it was, that tooth and root was destroyed, kind of like almost the same as David. I had a bridge and the teeth on either side. It wasn't going to happen, so I needed, just like David, 2 implants. I'm having less work done than David, so mine was a little bit less, but I was like 3,840 and he's like 4,200. So, but he's having more work done, but still a substantial savings over what it would cost in the U.S. There's just no doubt about it. Hang on, it's getting hot in here. It's showing 84, but I think it's more than 84 out there. Anyway, so I'm headed back. Why don't I turn it? I hope you enjoyed everything in today's video. I'm headed back to Quartzsite. I'm going to stop at kind of the grocery store on the way back, pick up some cat food for George. We're almost out of George's cat food. Can you imagine how much trouble I'd be in if I didn't stop for cat food? And I need some eggs. So the only place that is really on the way is Sam's Club. So I don't know how well I'm going to do in Sam's Club for cat food and eggs. They tend to sell these things in bulk, but I'll check it out. I think I'm pretty sure I can get eggs. I may have to get a couple dozen or something. That's fine. I eat a lot of eggs. But the cat food, maybe not. But there is a PetSmart next to it, so I may have to go to 2 places. Anyway, that is gonna be today's video, and I'm so happy you joined me and kept me company on the way down here. Take care, and I'll see you. Yes, when am I gonna see you? Tomorrow.